Good evening. I'd like to call the meeting to order, and we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening. I'll have the clerk please call the roll.
Supervisor Fountain?
Here.
Treasurer Horning?
Here.
Clerk Chopue? Here. Trustee Colliane? Absent. Trustee Germain?
Here.
Trustee Harper?
Here.
Trustee Petrucci?
Here.
Thank you. Item number 4 is approval of our meeting agenda.
So moved.
Support.
Motion by Treasurer Horning, second by Trustee Harper. Any discussion? Being none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion carries. Call to the public. Nobody at call to the public this evening. Item number 6 is approval of a consent agenda.
I'll move. Support.
Motion by Petrucci, second by Trustee Germain. Any discussion? Being none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion carries. Item number 7 is a public hearing for liquor license number 17-001 for Imagine Theater. This is,
Do you have to make a motion to open it?
yeah, and we'll have, the committee has a report, just a quick report as well. So.
Okay, so I'll move to open the public hearing.
Support. Motion by Treasurer Horning, second by Trustee Petrucci. Any discussion? Being none, all those in favor say aye.
Whoops. Oh, aye.
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 Those opposed, nay. Public hearing is open. I don't see anybody here in the audience that wants to talk about the Imagine. So we did review it as a committee, and I'll turn it over to either Joe or Glenn.
Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, I'll move to approve the resolution for local approval for the Imagine Theater for the new quotas Class C liquor license.
Can you do
Second.
that in the public hearing? Or do we got to come out of the
Should we
public
come out of the
hearing?
public hearing first?
You can do either, whatever you prefer.
Okay.
You can do it.
This is good then.
I'll second.
Okay. Motion by Trustee Petrucci, second by Treasurer Horning. And again, our committee, all of us agreed unanimous that
We reviewed everything.
it met the standards. So are there any questions by any board members?
I have one quick one. They asked for a dance permit on there. Is there something special with that, or?
I'm not aware of anything. I'm sure they just want to keep their options open to certain events, special events.
He said their grand opening is typically a gala
Yeah.
where they have a big event and then people decide where the money goes to. But so I imagine they might have dancing and a band and things. It sounded like it said gala.
You have to have that on your license to have live entertainment and or
No,
dance.
there's an entertainment permit that allows them to show movies and things like
Right.
that. There's a dance permit that allows them to have a dance
Right.
floor. And with the dance permit, if you didn't have the entertainment permit, you could have a dance floor and you'd have to have a 100-foot square dance floor. And I was just wondering, if it was just common that they got both for all of them, which apparently it seems like it is, so.
Any other discussion? Is this a resolution or just a motion?
Resolution.
There's a resolution.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Colliane's absent. Trustee Petrucci?
Yes.
Supervisor Fountain?
Yes.
Treasurer Horning?
Yes.
Trustee Germain?
Yes.
Trustee Harper?
Yes.
Clerk Chopue, yes.
Thank you. And I'll entertain a motion to come out of the public hearing.
So moved. Support.
Motion by Trustee Germain, second by Trustee Harper. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion carries. Okay, item number 8 is pending and new business. We have a prospective Eagle Scout project, and I'd like to have, let's welcome Mitchell Grasso this evening. Mitchell, you have the floor to give your presentation like we talked about earlier. And Manager Workman, you can see how it's up on the screen so we can kind of follow along with you. And then we'll open it up to any questions that the board may have afterwards. And I see you have Mr. West, our DPW director. You've been working with him on this, so you have the floor.
If I could give a brief introduction. Thank you. Mitchell Grasso here has worked with the Public Works Department and has developed a proposal for bike racks at the township's existing 3 parks. He has gone through a planning department review internally that was received favorably, and he has completed his land use permit, which is in queue, just contingent upon board approval here of his proposal for him to get started. So he's worked very diligently towards this project, and oftentimes it's not the quickest process, but he has been patient and understanding and learning along the way. So I think it's been a great opportunity for him to see how the review process works. And with that, I will certainly turn it over to you.
And could you just move the microphone over a little bit? Thank you.
My Eagle Scout project is that we will be building 3 bike racks at each of the following locations, which is Heritage Park, Settlers Park, and Springer Fields. My project is that I will be building 3 metal bike racks with a concrete slab at each location, and each location will have 3 of those racks. The racks will be about 3 feet and 4 inches tall, about 45 inches across. The concrete area will be 7 feet and by 6 feet and 10 inches with a depth of 6 inches. But there'll be a 2-inch layer on top of the concrete. So the way this will work is that I have a picture over here. The concrete will be set 8 inches down into the ground right here. And then the mulch will go set 2 inches on top. So the 6 plus the 2 will be the 8. And so the mulch will actually level up, hopefully, with the ground. And so that means that there will be about 32 inches of the rack standing high, and then the 45 inches across. My plans, I have the red square is where my project will be. It's really hard to see, but it's right here for Springer Fields.
Is that by the concession stand?
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. West had told me that these buildings here is what you guys are under construction right now. And if you can barely see it, but right here, this is where I'll be putting my bike racks. And then here, Mr. West said that the road and parking lot got extended, and you guys are currently building here, and hopefully my project will be right here. I have just some dates. I started this in May, and I came to Mr. West, and then he had told me about you guys don't have any really bike racks at any of your parks. So I came up with the idea. He let me go on it. I talked with some of my leaders. I had many proposals. Some were a little too small for the Boy Scouts. So I started coming up with more in depth and more kind of complicated. Then we kind of reached to this point, and then there has been some few laybacks, but right now I am looking at the 23rd, so tomorrow, and the 24th to install some of my bikes. And actually, due to your guys' construction, I'll have to actually kind of postpone 2 of my parks for the mulch, which will be the final touch. But at Springer, I have planned on completing all that by Thursday, which tomorrow I will be around 9 a.m. I'll dig out the area, I'll set it for concrete, and I already talked to Livingston Concrete, and they'll come around 3, and then we'll pour that all at each location, because I have also a frame for the other 2 locations. And so what will happen is that on Thursday, the concrete will be settled by then, and then at Springer, I'll come in, put the mulch, and we'll be done with Springer, and then I'll keep the mulch with me, and then when Mr. West will give me the go-ahead, I will come back and lay down the mulch in my other 2 areas, and they'll be finished. Some just materials. The metal that I am working with is stainless steel. They're 8-foot stainless steel pipes, but I've also cut them down. I also have rebar to help keep the bike racks in place within the cement. The concrete I'll be using is 3,000 foundation mix. I've also used wood planks for my frames, and also to help hold down my racks while the concrete is poured. I also have mulch. And so this is just kind of more of dimensions and how they will look. So again, they will be down 18 or 8 inches down into the ground, with 6 of it being concrete and the 2 layer of mulch. Then they will be sitting up 32 inches high out of the ground with about 48 to 45 inches across. This is just a bird's eye view. My whole entire area of the concrete is 7 foot by 6 feet and 10 inches. There will be about 2 feet in between each racks, and then there will be about 1.5 feet from the actual perimeter. I will need about 3 yards of concrete and 3 yards of mulch per area. This is just another top view. And then this is how my frame will be set up. My frame will be 7 feet by 7 feet and 1 inch. And then these right here, these will have holes drilled in, and that's where the bike racks will be set. And that is due to, for when the concrete is poured, they can stay stationary and that they won't move. And then when the concrete is poured, that will be it.
Very good.
I have a question. Each section or each rack, how many bikes can it accommodate?
So it will depend on how you would set it up. Typically, you could have one here and here, here and here. So typically you can have about 6 if you just line them each up, but you can also actually fit in like 10. We figured if people won't put their back wheel here and back wheel here, you can double it up by that way. So it'll vary between about 6 to 10.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
What would be the proposed construction schedule for the other 2 parks other than Springer?
So my proposed is that tomorrow I'll come, do Springer, and then I'll actually work my way to here. I'll build my frame here. And Mr. West had suggested that I do it in the parking lot since it was nice and firm. And then I'll go on to Heritage and I'll do the same thing there. And then what I'll do is work my way back is that I'll have concrete pour it into my frame with the bike racks already in there. And then I'll do the same thing here at Settlers. And what Mr. West will provide is that they'll dig out my area, the contractor will, and then he'll also pick up my whole frame, place it in where I would like for it to be placed, and then when that is done, Mr. West will give me a date, and I'll come back out, lay down the mulch, and I'll be all done.
So essentially what's going to happen is, due to the construction schedule right now, he's going to form them just outside of the construction area, and the contractor has agreed to assist with this project. And when final grading is performed, they will then pick up the units and place them in there to make sure they match the final grade. And then, as Mr. Grasso had indicated, he'll come back. I'll call him and let him know that he can come finish the mulch. But
So the answer is that would probably happen in the fall for the other 2 parks?
the actual moving of them, yes. But they will be assembled and formed. Once the concrete is set, we plan to at least pick them up and move them into the construction site for security purposes, but they most likely will not be set until the final grade is completed.
Any other questions? You did a wonderful job on your presentation, and we're eager to see these bike racks go in. And with that, if there's no other comments, I'll entertain a motion by the board.
I'll move to approve the proposed bike rack project by Mitchell Grasso to be eligible for Eagle Scout rank of the Boy Scouts of America.
Support.
Motion by Treasurer Horning, second by Trustee Harper. Is there any other discussion? Being none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I would like, just briefly, if we could get a picture with Mr. Grasso, just real quickly, so kind of commemorate this presentation. Bob, do you have a phone?
I do.
You have a phone.
With a picture?
With a camera. He's just got a flip phone.
We'll go right over here.
And then when you're done,
Thank you. Item number 8B is Road Commission Agreement for Hartland Road. Manager Wickman or Mr. West, do you have any comments on that?
I do. If I could give just a brief update on the village area improvements. The village drain project has been completed. The restoration has been completed as well, short of the public roadway. And most recently, the pathway improvements were completed this week. And so the final objective here, the final piece of the village area puzzle, is the Hartland Road agreement with the Livingston County Road Commission. Now, the Road Commission has not officially delivered a agreement. They have indicated that the project is set with the additions and everything that we have proposed outside of the standard 2-lane roadway, that they estimate that the contract cost would be $500,000. To put that into perspective, the Hartland Road Safer Roads Plan allocated $437,000 towards this project. Now, if you recall, back when Hacker Road was done, there was a credit to be distributed. So it was to be distributed towards this project, or credited towards this project, which was essentially $220,000. So what I have done is I'm actually requesting authorization for the township supervisor to sign the contract when it comes in at an amount not to exceed the balance of the $500,000 less the $220,000 credit. Now, what I've done a little differently here is generally the Livingston County Road Commission road agreements include a 10% contingency. Because I have not seen this in print and the unique circumstances, I'm requesting an additional 20% or an additional 10% for a total 20% contingency. The first 10% would be their standard contract. The second, because we don't actually have their contract, they've estimated it to be $500. If it comes in at $505 or $506, I would hate to have to come back to the board for that. So what you have before you is not an actual contract, but authorization, again, for the township supervisor to sign the contract at a not to exceed amount when that contract arrives.
James, do you have any other comments?
No, the agreement, you've seen the agreements now several times over, so obviously the rest of the terms would be there. I think obviously there's some special, this is not a normal country road repaving. There's some additional things there that we're talking about. I think it's worth noting that while the budget is slightly different than the Safer Roads Plan, we've added some scope of work to it. The Crossroads section up to the bridge is being added for the better, to add value to the whole thing. And then we're also adding some paved parking, repaving where paved parking is at now, and adding some stretches of paved parking. So there's additional incremental pavement costs as well that kind of go to that number. The unit pricing is still there. We're getting the credit. We're saving money. These are all good.
Any questions from the board members? Being none, I'd entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to authorize the township supervisor to sign the contract with the Livingston County Road Commission not to exceed $500,000 plus
$336,000.
I'm sorry,
$336,000.
$336,000.
We're getting a credit from Hacker Road.
Okay, for $336,000 for Hartland Road.
Support.
Motion by Trustee Harper, second by Trustee Germain. Is there any other discussion? Being none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thank you.
Absolutely. And before we move on, if I could just briefly add, for those at home, there's concerns about the scheduling of this Hartland Road project with the start of the school season. And I do want to reiterate that the Livingston County Road Commission has met with the Hartland Consolidated Schools administration, and they have agreed to minimize the impact. They have aligned schedules as best that they can. So I just want to let everybody at home know that although this project will be starting around the same time that school starts this year, the unique circumstances, both sides of the table are really working together to minimize the impact on all the students as well as the parents that drive there.
Do they have a timeline of how long they think it might take to complete the project?
Pending weather, obviously all construction projects pend weather. They're anticipating 10 construction days for the complete project. And as Manager Wickman had indicated, a lot of the work is going to be performed outside of the road right away. What they anticipate is doing that work prior to school and the buses traversing to school. And then once everybody's in school, they'll start on the roadway. And just before the school's let out, they're going to move everything off and go back to the sides. Now that's optimal conditions. There may be 1 or 2 days where it'll be single lane closures, but they anticipate not having any single lane closures when the bus traffic is moving, as well as the parents picking up or dropping off their students. So they are working together towards that schedule.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 8C is sewer property final closing. Manager Wickman.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. This resolution memorializes the motion you've already made. The title company is asking for it to be in the form of a resolution, and this is similar to one that you did last year for the first closing. I offer it for your consideration.
I move to approve the resolution authorizing sale of real property.
Support.
Motion by Treasurer Horning, second by Trustee Harper. Any discussion? Be none, all in favor say aye. I'm sorry, it's a resolution. Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Harper?
Yes.
Clerk Chovu, yes. Trustee Germain?
Yes.
Supervisor Fountain?
Yes.
Trustee Petrucci?
Yes.
Treasurer Horning?
Yes.
Trustee Colleen, absent.
Thank you. Item number 8D is the Comcast Uniform Video Service Local Franchise Agreement. Manager Whitman.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Many of you will recall in 2006, the state changed the legislation on this that basically, as the name implies, made all video franchise agreements uniform, and we really don't have much option in these things. The terms, both agreements are there. The one we did in 2007, this is a 10-year agreement. It's up for renewal. The terms and everything are the same as what we ultimately approved in 2007 after our litigation with Comcast at that time. So I'm recommending and offering it for your approval. I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
This is pretty much what do you want to call it?
Cookie cutter.
It's a cookie cutter.
This is the one
for everyone.
Every city, village, and township in the state is looking at this one.
Okay.
Different names in the blanks.
Move to authorize the supervisor to execute the franchise agreement with Comcast.
Support.
Motion by Treasurer Horning, second by Clerk Shofu. Any discussion?
It really bothers me that because I can't get it and the amount of money that they want to charge me, to put in Comcast when they have fiber optic very close to my property. It just bothers me. And just based on that, I know we have no control over them. I am not going to vote in favor of this, just out of principle.
Any other comments? Be none. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay.
Nay.
Motion carries. Thank you. Board reports. We are in our second meeting in August, and we start with Trustee Germain.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Just want to briefly point out that the Merit Energy Company submitted another work plan to MDEQ, and it has already been uploaded to the Hartland Township website. This is the work plan to begin remediation of the sulfur-laying groundwater spill that happened at the Hartland 36 gas plant, which has now been demolished almost 2 years ago. The work plan follows the recommendations in the pilot test that was conducted this study this summer, and the remediation will be a very it's a remediation technology that's been used for years and years, and it's really quite simple. You blow air into the groundwater from a compressor. It increases the dissolved oxygen concentration of the groundwater, which then causes the naturally occurring bacteria, which use sulfolane as their food source to multiply, grow. They consume all of the sulfolane, and you're left with clean water. So that's the process that's to occur. It's projected to take about a 2-year period. 1 year for the groundwater remediation system to operate itself, and then 1 year of closure time, which would just be like quarterly sampling events to verify that there are no hot pockets remaining and things like that. Since we're talking about the geology in Hartland Township, which varies from place to place, even on a 5-acre parcel, there could be some areas of groundwater that take longer to treat. So that's just pretty much a wild guess as how long it's going to take. Once the system is up and operational, which is expected to be about middle to the end of October, and then we start getting some data back, then it would be easier to estimate how long the treatment system would operate. But DEQ has provided approval, so Merit's moving forward basically as fast as they can get contractors out there.
Can I ask Matt a question? So the air causes the bacteria to grow, the bacteria eat all the sulfolane. What happens to the bacteria? Are they not impacted by that, and will they be carrying sulfolane with them as they get passed into the water?
No, when the bacteria run out of food, they just die and go away.
Okay.
Thank you again for your updates throughout this process.
You're welcome.
Other questions? And that'll be on the website?
It is now.
It is now? Okay. Is that the one is that a recap of the one you just sent? Very good. Is there anything else?
No.
Okay. Trustee Harper?
No report.
Trustee Petrucci?
Just want to inform the board that the fire marshal position is being addressed. Should be an announcement coming out very shortly. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Clerk Shofu?
No report.
Treasurer Horny?
Nothing.
Just briefly, the Livingston Land Conservancy is having a annual get-together September 8th at the Howell Opera House. So if you're interested in supporting that organization, go to their website, Livingston Land Conservancy, and find out all the information that you'll need to participate. That's all I have right now. We'll take a brief recess and we'll go over there and have our work session. James, you'll have that up on the screen over there
Yep.
for us? Okay.